All right, let's get started. Welcome to Unlock Your First Six Figures Morning Show. I am your host, Shay Cannon. I am an award-winning fractional chief operating officer with an exclusive clientele of 6- and 7-figure CEOs. However, I have a mission. That mission includes you, small business owners and entrepreneurs who are spinning their wheels and struggling to get to their first 6 figures in business. I want to show you how to make the money and create time freedom. Let's make the money and create time freedom. My freedom looks like living and working my business from anywhere in the world. I'll spare you the details. I am currently living my best life and working my best business in Mexico. Okay, so Blog Talk for the day has been released. All week long, we have talked about creating influence, the blueprint. You can find the blog at shaycannon.com/blueprint. Okay, blueprint. Y'all know I'm from Alabama. BLUEPRINT. Okay, blueprint. So what we have talked about is the blueprint, or my thinking around blueprints came from my love of Issa Rae. Okay, I've loved her since Insecure. I loved her even more in 2017 when she was interviewed for the Emmys and she was asked the question, who are you rooting for? And she said, everybody Black. Okay, that indoctrinated more of my love for her. However, recently I was at a business conference and she spoke live and I heard her talk about her, giving credence to her success by following blueprints. Basically, what she was saying was, someone who is successful at something you want to be successful at has created a blueprint or a path to success. And then more recently, I saw her on Masterclass. You can go to masterclass.com. You can go to the blog post. I show you exactly what class she teaches. And in her class and in her introduction, she again talked about blueprints. And she said she spoke about some of the specific blueprints she followed to get success. And then she proceeded to teach us her blueprint. Okay, so blueprints are important when you want to be successful with something. So when I think about that, we need to build our influence, okay? And why build influence? Because if you have not noticed, it's way easier for somebody who has influence to then start to monetize it with an offer than it is for us with the offer to monetize it without influence, right? So we need to build our influence. So I looked for blueprints for us, right? And I went and searched for them on the 4 top platforms of the day right now. So on Monday, we talked about the platform Facebook. I gave you 4 influencers and a bonus, and we talked about what their blueprint was. On Tuesday, we went to Instagram, and I gave you 4 influencers and a bonus, and we talked about what their 4 top influencers and a bonus, and we talked about what their blueprint for success was. Yesterday, TikTok, we did the same thing. Today, we're going into YouTube, okay? YouTube, we're returning to YouTube. Now, let me tell you why YouTube is important. YouTube is important because it started off as this social platform for long form video, right? I think the first video was about a cat or some shit. I don't even know. But what it has turned into unexpectedly is YouTube is now the 2nd largest search engine in the world. It is not just social media anymore. So let me tell you the difference. Social media is when you're out there saying, hey, look at me. Let me interrupt your scroll. Look at me. I want to tell you something. I want to show you something. That's social media, right? You're being social, trying to garner attention. But YouTube and Google is when people find you when they are actually looking for you. They are searching for you. That's why it's called a search engine. So it's even more important that we know how to garner and be there, or garner attention, but be there when they are searching for us on search engines. So YouTube is even more important to me than all of the other places, okay? So pay attention. Now, YouTube specifically, I found 4 top influencers. The first one is Marie Forleo. Marie Forleo. Now, Marie is a renowned entrepreneur and business coach. In fact, her program that is her claim to fame is called B School or Business School, okay? Now, she calls her channel, her YouTube channel, Marie TV. That's a part of a blueprint, right? Marie TV. Now, let's go deeper with her blueprint. She uses her channel to provide valuable insights into personal development, entrepreneurship, and building a successful service-based business. Okay, so she uses an engaging style and practical advice as a part of her blueprint. So that's Marie's blueprint. All right, let's move on. Sunny, dang it if I don't know how to pronounce Sunny's last name. Lenarduzzi, I think is what it is, okay? But go to the blog post, shaycannon.com/blueprint. Not only will you see the correct spelling, but you can click her name and it's hyperlinked to her channel, okay? Now, she is a social media strategist and online business expert. Her YouTube channel's blueprint is all about giving tips on video marketing, social media, and personal branding, okay? She does things in a way to make her the go-to resource in her industry, okay? She doesn't just give tips. She doesn't just give information. Sometimes what it is she's the leading source for that information. Sometimes she's an early adopter of what will help people in her industry. Okay, so what she's doing is she don't only just give information that she knows, she may pull information from other places. She may tell you about trends and tell you about how she's using them first. So that is her blueprint. She's made herself the go-to resource in her industry. Could you make that your blueprint, right? Roberto Blake, and Dr. Tachi mentioned him yesterday, right? He's a creative entrepreneur and online business coach. His blueprint, he focuses on helping creators just like him. Now, sometimes there's something about you that's very niched, right? There's something about you that's very niched and you have your own kind of people. Creatives are their own kind of people. They're not like everybody else. They really don't want to do nothing else but create, right? But the problem with that is that's why you hear things like starving artists. Because creatives only want to create. They don't want to be bothered with selling stuff. They don't want to be bothered with promoting stuff. They don't want to be bothered with all the other details, but that's why they don't make money, right? So what he does is he helps his own people to make money. Now, what he does is he helps them to succeed specifically in the digital space. So he helps them to market in a way that works for them, that works for creatives. So who are your niche people, right? My niche people are service-based business owners who are trying to break into your first 6 figures as a revenue milestone. It's not a ceiling, it's going to be your new floor, right? So those are my niche. Who are your niche people? And how can you pull them into your blueprint to help them specifically? All right. Now, our bonus influencer is Franchesca Ramsey. She is a comedian, a writer, and social commentator. Y'all know sometimes the top influencer list don't have Black people in it. And I'm like, it's Ray. I'm rooting for everybody Black. So as a bonus, I pull in a Black influencer, and that's going to be Franchesca for today. Her YouTube channel, it covers a wide range of topics, including social justice, pop culture, and personal development. She's known for thought-provoking videos and discussions, but she does it with humor. Right? So how can you bring the seriousness of information that people need to know and cut it and make it a little more humorous? Can you use that blueprint? Okay. So those are the 5 blueprints for today. Hopefully you were taking notes. And so we're going to do our round robin and ask our ladies, which of these blueprints are you going to try to indoctrinate from our YouTube influencers? So Teray, which blueprints are you going to use?
Good morning, ladies. How are you today? I'm going to use Marie Forleo. Yeah, because she's a business coach. So I'm a dating coach. I want to provide valuable insight and practical advice. But I also want to merge that with Franchesca Ramsey because she focuses on thought-provoking videos and personal development, but she does it in a comedic way. I feel like the comedy aspect is what's going to draw people, you know what I mean, and make it more fun and make people tune in.
Okay, I like that. I like that. Heather, what blueprints are you going to pull into your own blueprint? You're on mute. Only I can hear you because you're in the next room.
I pressed the wrong button. Sorry. Okay.
And now you're not on camera, by the way. I don't know if you meant to do that.
I meant to do that.
Okay, no problem.
That's the button I meant to not push. Okay, so my bad. So I like Marie Forleo. I did, when I started following her, when did we talk about Instagram? For yesterday? No. Tuesday?
Tuesday, yeah.
Yeah, so I started following her on Tuesday, And then of course she popped up in my feed for her Marie TV, which made me go right over to
Yes.
YouTube, right? So
Mhm.
I like her a lot. I don't know the others, but I feel like Franchesca Ramsey and how she is funny and engaging, because I did check her out briefly this morning.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know if that I'm necessarily funny or engaging, but like I'm, the whole ADHD thing is something that I want to start talking about as an adult,
Yes.
trying to succeed. So I feel like the practical part for Marie Forleo with the writing coach, trying to get people to write their books, and then just trying to incorporate more of like what it is to exist in this world and try to run a business with this neurospiciness going on, like
Mhm.
the combination probably is going to work.
I love that. And Teray just said what I said, what I was thinking. And that is, Heather, you're hilarious and don't even know it. So yes, I love that you could do humor, but don't forget about Roberto Blake, right? So Roberto is focusing on the niche of his people that are like him. So you brought up the ADHD. Don't be afraid to lean into that. Those are your people. Who's going to understand them better than you, right? So
You're right. You're right. And actually I wanted to tell you yesterday, so in the chat yesterday, I said that there's this woman, she does mostly like archaeology stuff on TikTok.
mhm.
And she's in like New Zealand or Australia. Her face is always like right in the camera. And so when you're scrolling and she's like, stop what you're doing, you're like, okay, I will. It's like you stop because she's like, archaeologists discovered this, whatever, right? But she has started to lean into her ADHD and like talking about how it affects her on a daily basis. And she's like started a business beyond TikTok content. So but anyway, so yes. So thank you for that.
Of course, of course. All righty. Demetra, what blueprints are you going to pull into your blueprint?
Good morning, all. Let me quickly go into the blog. But before then, let's give Issa Rae another round of applause, especially since
Yes,
Awkward Black Girl, was done entirely on YouTube.
it was. It was.
Okay, and then Insecure came out, so that was great that she used the platform that particular way. As I continue to stall, anyway, I'm going to do a combination of Marie, Sunny, and Derral. Why? Let's see, Marie mainly because engage out or giving practical advice.
Mhm.
Sunny because of that person looking to leverage online platforms for growth, as well as Derral because of the leverage in video content. And I would like to do some more video
Mhm.
content,
Mhm.
but I'm not humorous, even though I really can be. But yeah, we're going to move on.
I was going to
Uh,
say, you can be now. Hold up.
yeah, I can be. Yeah. Okay, that's it.
Love it. Thank you, Demetra. Dr. LaFera, which blueprints are you going to pull into your blueprint?
So since I am talking to women over 40 about how to age gracefully and accept their bodies, I think that there could be more humor in that.
Mhm.
So the Marie Forleo person, I'm going to look at her.
Mhm.
And then also because I am one of them, and I am an example of what happens if you don't um, take care of your body well. I can do like the other influencer and and relate to them, help them to relate to, okay, this is what happens when you don't prioritize your health, like stuff breaks down, like, so I could get people to relate to me in that way, and they do relate to me in that way, even when they're not women over 40. So
Exactly. And your credentials as being a doctor will definitely elevate whatever you say and can make you a go-to resource for your niche. So definitely all of that. I love it for you.
thank you.
Tracy, you're welcome. Tracy, what blueprints are you going to pull into your blueprint for influence?
Good morning. I am going to pull in Marie Folio Just talking about personal development and things that will help my people.
Mhm.
And I'm looking at Roberto Blake because I am a creative, and I'm that person that will give it all away, and I want to just help you, and I want to give you all the birds and the flowers, and I end up not making money. So that's another reason why I'm in here with you. Uh, but
Welcome. You're in the
I
right
want to
place.
see what he does because that speaks to who I am.
Mhm.
And I believe that in following their blueprints, it'll help me build my marketing around the people that are just like me. And right now, that's people that are actually working through and healing from fawn trauma. And so that's why I look at them.
Love it. Love it. Auntie Shaky, which of the blueprints are you going to pull into your blueprint for influence? And there you
So
go.
the one that I was thinking of is Francis. So not to say for necessarily the humor part,
Mhm.
but for the talking about a particular subject and putting a different spin on it, which is the
Yeah.
relationship spin on it. So putting a
Mhm.
relationship spin on finances and,
Yes. Way to see
and
the overview. I love that.
yes.
Cool beans. All right. Stacy, which of these blueprints are you going to pull into to help to build your influence?
Um, I was gonna try Marie, Roberto, and Francesca, just a combination of them. And I put some notes like my niche has to do with my company's mission for like wellness, travel, volunteer tourism, and traditional Chinese medicine. So for me, I'm over 50. You already know that. So, I try to focus on like stress, how that kind of puts your life into chaos, and then how it
Mhm.
turns that chaos turns into chaos in your body, and how to kind of balance that, smooth that out. So I need to look through their blueprint to see how I can engage in a way that's entertaining to folks in that category. So those are people like me. Like, even though I'm a practitioner of wellness, I'm dealing with some of the same stuff, being a caregiver, being a mom, late mom, that kind of stuff, so yeah, that was mine.
Cool beans. Cool beans. I love that. I love that. Asked a good question, y'all. And what she asked was to build the blueprint. Like, once you find the influencer and you want to indoctrinate their blueprint to be a part of your blueprint, her question was, does that mean you need to follow their page all the time? Right? Now, let me tell you, it doesn't mean that you need to follow their page all the time, because you can take the overview of what their blueprint is and bring it into your blueprint, remix it, and just run with it, right? But it's always good to see what these influencers are doing and how they're pivoting and using the blueprint in different ways. That is helpful, but you don't have to be on their page all the time. I would say when you're developing your blueprints, when you're updating your blueprints, when you're doing your quarterly, your monthly planning for how you're going to get your influence out there, you can always check back in with them to see what they're doing, right? To see if now that I'm about to, plan another month or another quarter, let me go ahead and check and see what they're doing to see if there's an update that will make it easier for me to work my blueprint. Okay. Glow said definitely helpful, but I'm feeling like I need so much. I guess that's me in my own head. I'll get it together. So it's not that you need so much, because let me tell you how everything you need to know is going to be on the other side of execution. Okay. All of these things that we're doing to plan is theory until you start to do it, right? So you just need to start doing stuff and start paying attention to how is it landing? Are you getting the results that you want? And if not, you start to tweak it. Okay. So that's the most important thing. That is the most important thing. It's funny because, in the United States, we treasure and put on a platform the traditional colleges and universities, right? And they look down upon the accreditations for like trade colleges and the colleges that are taught, the schools that are taught at night from people who are actually current practitioners of that industry. And I've always thought it should be the other way around, right? Because some people that are teaching in the traditional universities and colleges never even went out to practice what they're the expert in. They don't have that practical stuff. They only are teaching theory, right? Whereas when you're talking about these night schools and trade schools, these people are still in the industry. They know the difference between what the book is saying and what they've experienced. To me, they give more of a wealth of knowledge for you to be able to transition and pivot and all of these things. So most of the things that you want are on the other side of execution. You can only get so ready. You can only, start planning so much. You got to get out there and execute, because that's going to give you the real information, the real data, the real stuff that you need to know. Because we can say everything, we can say anything, but until you start getting out there with the people who you want to buy from you and understanding how they're reacting to the influence you're trying to do, that's the data that counts the most. So don't ever forget that. Glo said, I'm putting out stuff and seeing likes here and there, but it's like, what am I doing wrong? And this comes from looking at other people and how they are putting things together. So what I'll say, Glo, is sometimes it's not that you're not doing well, because if you're getting responses, then that means you're doing great. So now the question is, are you getting enough traffic, right? So you might just need more and more of those people who are liking and engaging right now. So the question would be, okay, they're liking it. The people who are seeing it, we need to get more people to see it. So that sounds like a traffic problem, not a am I doing the right thing problem. Okay. Cool beans. All right. Does anybody else have questions? I wanted to make sure we had more time for questions. We've been talking about influence all week. Y'all have had little time at the end to ask questions. So I feel like you guys have been like, well, it's already 9 o'clock. I don't want to ask anything. So I definitely wanted to leave at least 15 minutes. And so I am successful in the presentation part, right? So that we can get into your questions, because now comes time to start to think about, right? So I gave you 5 people a day, different blueprints, right? So that's 20 blueprints. How are you going to pull from them and start to apply them to your business? Start thinking about, if I was to sit down today and start to plan how I'm going to do my influence, what's my question, right? What's going to stop you from starting today? Demetra.
Do you have any suggestions for me, considering the fact that I am helping children with learning disabilities? It's not like I want to joan on them, So any suggestions?
Okay, so you're talking about applying humor?
Okay, yeah, let's say applying humor.
Okay, so you don't make fun of them, you make fun of situations, or you make fun of people misinterpreting them, right? So you don't have to make fun of them in and of themselves, because that's not what you want to do. Sometimes you can make fun of, a way that you have done something that didn't work. It can have nothing to do with them, right? It could be real life situations that you've gone into that are a direct result of somebody never being tutored or never being taught about a specific thing they were weak in, right? So it doesn't have to be your students in and of themselves. It never has to be them.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Of course, of course. Dr. LaFera. And we're gonna.
All right, I'm driving, Shay.
Okay, I'm sorry, Dr. LaFera.
Thank you. So, okay, so this is what I've always struggled with.
Okay.
Because like doctors, like a lot of us have a lot of focuses. My focus is not something that I can really talk about too much. Because I'm not talking about autopsies and body parts. But okay, so going into the holistic side of health and preventative stuff, and me wanting to focus on women. I've been told that, I need to kind of niche down. So I only really talk about maybe one thing. And to me, that's a challenge when I start talking about how to make us look and feel our best over 40. Because yes, hormones is what I'll be focused on that little nucleus of the whole thing, but like when you look at that, you got so many things that affect them. And so, like, if you came to my page, say for Instagram, for instance, like, I'm not gonna be on there cooking. I already said that. Like, so I'm not trying to be the health coach that shows you how to cook best on my page. Like, if I could do a program with that you pay for, but I'm not doing it on my page.
Yeah.
I prefer to do stuff like makeup and to do stuff like what we talked about, like the fashion stuff, even though I never thought I liked that, like growing up. I prefer to do stuff like that because like I see the biggest like smiles on people's faces when I show them how to put their makeup on right, or when I show them how to wear their clothes and they fit, better. Or, so I'm like, how do I kind of center my stuff? And then I have the supplements, which I'm going to go hard for because like those make a big difference in like my overall health, as well as like stuff to manage stress. So how do I take knowing what I just told you and make it to where I come to her page to see this, like say for instance on Instagram or whatever. TikTok,
So,
you can be kind of over the place, but
you can, but TikTok just has to be entertaining, right? So for me, for you don't have to do the cooking, but the same thing you would do with the cooking can be done with the things that you want to do, the fashion and the makeup, right? So a huge category of short form video is get dressed with me, right?
Yeah.
That's a huge
And
category.
I do those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but it doesn't have to be about just the get dressed with me and seeing out. So you can be, the video can be about them showing you showing them how you're picking your outfit and what it looks like at the end. But the voiceover can be about how picking your outfit is setting the tone for how you're going to feel today. You need to feel good about what you're wearing, right?
Yeah.
We all have flaws and we all have assets, right? So getting dressed is all about pushing out the assets and hiding the flaws, right?
Exactly.
And so, you giving, so if you pull in from yesterday, the guy who he dances, right? But it's not about him dancing. Over the dancing, he's putting in the positive messages. That's what you can do with your get ready with me, right? That's what
true.
you can do with your, the makeup time. The makeup time of you doing your simple makeup and then popping the lashes in at the end, that's the video. But you don't have to talk about that at all. You can talk about how makeup is not to hide who you are. It's to accentuate your natural beauty. Right?
So they're not teaching so much the trade of what I'm doing, but like also throwing that messaging in around it. And that's what's going to stand out.
Exactly. Because it's only so many times you can teach the makeup look, right?
Exactly.
But there are so many topics you can talk about to help them with the positive messaging and the body consciousness and the body positivity that they need. And you being a doctor of pathology, if I have that correct, you don't have to talk about the autopsies you do. What you talk about is that the stress is what causes disease. And disease is the physical, manifestation of stress. And you're always pulling that in, and that's what's going to make you the go-to resource for stress relief. And stress relief can look like me feeling good in my clothes, right? So I would double down on getting a little more knowledge of fashion in that and helping to cover up flaws, right? So for me, I'm a former runway model. So there are some things I know about clothing and hiding flaws that I pass on to people that they're always grateful for. One of which is like, if you have like a belly, right? Or your belly is bigger than you want it to be, and you have to put on a belt, you should pull the front of that belt over to the side so the front is flat and not poking out even more from the front of the belt, right? So that's a tip, right? People who have a big ass shouldn't have pockets on the back, but people who have not enough ass should get pockets. It's gonna help fluff that thing out. You know what I'm saying? So it's different things that you can be telling them about different flaws to help them feel good about it, because it's not about I was just born this way, I'm stuck with it. It's you can use fashion to help you feel better about this stuff, right?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
you can definitely be talking about it. And so that gives you a chance to not always be talking about yourself getting dressed. It could be that you're showing, a stock video of somebody else having something else on, or a stock photo of somebody having something on, photos of friends, videos of friends. It just opens it up for you.
Mm-hmm.
Is that helpful?
Yeah. It's helpful. And then I can push them eventually into like my courses and stuff like
Yes.
from
Yes.
there.
And guess what? When you
What?
are using the videos of you doing your makeup, but you're not talking about the makeup, at the end,
Mhm.
you can refer them to the video, to the different actual makeup tutorials.
Yeah.
You don't have to do a tutorial every time. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Shay.
You are welcome. You are welcome. We got Kimberly over here on Facebook listening to us. She said, good morning, everybody. So Kimberly, if you want to put whose blueprint you want to use this from today's stuff in the comments, you can. If you have any questions, Kimberly, you can put it in the comments and we'll get to it. Tracy, did you have any questions? Auntie Shaky, did you have any questions? Stacy, Glow already asked one. Heather, did you have any questions? Teray.
I just wanted to say that, despite whichever tool you end up using, just be ready for that smoke. Just be ready for that smoke. Because for any of these, if you just read their comments, not everybody's gonna agree with you. There are what are they, trolls, people that, they wake up and are miserable. So, that's just another thing that comes with influence and, building these larger brands, that there's definitely people that think what you're saying is dumb, or they think the way you put on your makeup is wrong, or, the dating advice that you're giving is awful. So you just gotta, be able to stand in who you are. I think.
No,
Keep
you're
going.
correct. You're correct. Thank you for that. Because it is definitely with more influence, you draw more attention from naysayers. You definitely do. But what you have to understand is you're doing things your way for the people that connect with you. There are other people out there that the people who don't agree with you can go connect with. So focus on your people, right? So thank you for that, Auntie Shaky. Teray, what question did you have?
My question, and thank you for that, Shaky. Like, I've been trying to get my mind right knowing this, because I've taken the Shay's advice and I've been following people who are in my industry so that I can find their gaps. But whenever you read the comments, people are blasting them. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't agree with some of their stuff either. That's why I'm watching them, so I can pull out what I need to say. But there's no reason to attack. Like, this is their tribe. This is what they do. So I'm trying to get my mind right, because I don't like that. My thing is that if you don't agree, then stop watching it. Why say anything? But people are silly. But anyway, my question is, as we looked at each of these platforms this week, I want to go ahead and get started. But I plan to, I guess, take videos and then repurpose them on each platform. But even if I do that, what time limit would you recommend for each one? So for YouTube, would it be like 20 minutes? And then for TikTok, it would be 3 minutes. You know what I mean? What would you recommend starting out for each platform?
So I feel like that's something, so I don't have recommendations per platform, because I just kind of do what I want to do and see how people respond. Right. And I look at the analytics to see is there a place where they're dropping off? Because if there is, then I need to make it just that long. Right. So what I'm going to say is this is going to be one of those things where I say, just Google what they say is recommended for each platform, start there, and then pay attention to your people. Your people actually have the correct answer to that question. Nobody else has the correct answer. You use everything and you ask, like, what do I recommend you start? So you know that, but the correct answer is going to be how they respond to what you do. So I say just Google the platforms that you want to start out on, see what they're recommending, even with like the time of day you should publish, see what they're recommending, see what they're recommending the lengths be and all of that kind of stuff, and start there and then start to tweak based on your analytics. Cool beans.
Thank you,
Stacy, you have a question. What's your question?
Well, I had two. One that I was holding. It's about Instagram. You know, I have a Shopify store and then I have my regular Instagram account. Should I create a separate Shopify Instagram account like for my products? Or will it confuse, because I'm trying to set up my ad campaigns and it didn't make any sense to me while I was trying to create the ads for Instagram if it's for my products on Shopify.
Okay, so let me make sure I understand. Your Instagram is under your name? And
Well, it's AIM Tanzania, but it's, you know, it's my face, it's me.
Okay, and so what you're saying, okay, so now the clarifying question is the products have nothing to do with AIM Tanzania. Like it's another brand, I should say.
It's another brand, it's a sub brand, yes. So it doesn't really correlate to me, you know.
Yeah. Two things. This is why I say do things in your name, because whatever you do and whatever brand you touch can be promoted from something from your name. Especially if you're going the way of creating influence, then the influence can then transfer to any product that you have. So I would say instead of doing another product one, do one with your name. And then now we can promote whatever. You can run ads on whatever brand you have from that same one. So, because what I want you to keep in mind is we're not doing the big brand way, right? The big brand way is company first, right? But they have thousands of dollars to push this brand with a crazy ass name. You know what I'm saying? That it's like radio, right? They keep playing the song until you love it, whether you love it or not, right? So big businesses, they keep putting their name in front of you. They don't make sense. You never knew them in front of you so much that now you start to like, know, and trust them, right? We don't have the benefit of a big budget. So what influence does for us is it helps to make us an expert at something that could be an umbrella something. And then that umbrella something can have different brands under it that we can then push from our influence. But if we start making social media for every little brand, you're splitting the influence. You're splitting all the hard work that you're doing. So what I would say is create one under your name, become the expert at the umbrella level of what pushes AIM Tanzania and the wellness stuff and whatever. You see what I'm saying?
So, and yes, I understand. Thank you. So then that creates another question for me.
Yeah.
So I have, like I've had this IG account for ages. If I create a new one, should I create a brand new one, or should I just change
the name? I would change the name.
Okay. Thank you. I'll save my other questions for later.
No, I would, if nobody else have any other questions, you can go again. So yes, I would change the name, and then you can use those highlight buttons to highlight the brands.
I don't know how to use those yet, but yes, thank you.
Hey, research it. I don't use them either, but I see other people use them effectively. So hey, research it.
I will.
Not a problem. Okay. Does anybody else have a question before we go deeper with with Stacy's other questions?
I just threw in the chat this young lady that I follow on TikTok. Her name is Tiana Young Morris, and she reminds me so much of you. Oh my goodness. When I want you to just take that name and just look her up on TikTok. Okay. Certainly she's an attorney, but the two of you have such a similar personality that I think you'll see it too. But anyway, I just wanted to drop that.
Well, I need help on TikTok. So yeah, give me somebody to look, because y'all look, my funny story is I got on TikTok with my Facebook stuff and everybody was like, nope, that ain't it. I asked them, did they want to attend a free something on something? And I put a poll up, they voted no. I said, oh, okay, let me figure out the best way to do TikTok. So I've since come up with some stuff, but yes, thank you. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not a platform specific person. I build my influence on blueprints that I take around, but sometimes it doesn't work on every platform. So you just have to know what your platform is and how to use it, and go strong on the one that you're strong on. So thank you for that, Auntie Shaker. I'll look that up. In fact, I'm putting it in the group so I won't forget who you said and where. Got it. All right. Nobody else has a question, Stacy. So what's your next question?
Well, we've been, for the past couple of months, we've been having rolling blackouts, and it's random. We don't get any notification. The power stays out for 10 to 12 hours. So you don't know if it's going out at 10, if it's going out at 5. So I try to keep my devices, charged and everything. And so my scheduling and my communication with folks is off. Yeah, who said that? Auntie Shake. Okay. Yeah.
This is this other country living. This is what
right. Yeah. And so I've been at home instead of like at my office and stuff at the lodge. I've been at home lately, and it's the only place that I don't have solar. So I'm very behind in getting things done because of that. So in trying to do things for TikTok and YouTube, all that stuff like video content, is there any advice on, what to do? I know one time we talked about creating the videos and then uploading them, but sometimes my internet drags. So like when I try to upload, it takes like 3 hours, 4 hours, and then you look up and it's not there. Yeah.
So I think the first thing is you should focus on short-term video the most, because the shorter videos will not take as long to upload. So that's the first thing. Focus on a bunch of short-term videos. The second thing is you need to batch when you are where things are optimal, right? So maybe you need to plan to be where things are most optimal, and batch while you're there. Another thing is you may not have like the full big solar thing at the house, but I have a portable, let me show you. I have a portable, I'm going to say generator. You see this? It's called Rock Power, because I'm used to power outages and all of that kind of stuff. And what I have is solar panels. This opens up. It's a portable solar panel. You see what I'm saying? So you might need something like that at home. And I'll find the link and put it in the group.
Thank you.
But us other country living people, we have to be ready because their power isn't always not as stable as what we're used to. And depending on where you live in a certain part of another country, if you live where the locals live, you're gonna have local problems. They cut their water off without announcement. They cut the power off. They're the last to get the power on after storms and all of that kind of stuff. So we have to take different things into account when we live in other countries. And just for reference, I live in Mexico. Stacy lives in Africa. So different countries are going to have different infrastructure problems, and you need to be ready for those problems. So I actually travel. I check that that fold up solar panel. It fits in my check luggage, and I just put clothes around it, right? And the Rock Power, the little small thing, I put in my carry-on. Okay. And they always take it out and swab it like it's a bomb and all kind of things. But I keep my little manuals and stuff, and I keep the policy that they have right there because the people don't be knowing they own policies. So I keep it so I can get on through this line.
Okay. So, thank you.
You are welcome. You are welcome. What's your next question, Stacey?
That was it.
Okay, cool beans. So Kimberly has been in our Facebook comments, and she said she's gonna have to rewatch because she doesn't have the blueprint, so she's not gonna talk about blueprints. But she says, I want to go ham on an issue that I'm passionate about, but because it's related to something I experience at work daily, I'm not sure how to present it. So that's, okay, that's a little hard, Kimberly, because I don't know if while I'm still in corporate America, I would talk about things that have to do in any way with my job, and I still need my job. So if you still need your dream funder, now is not the time to talk about it, is what I'm gonna say. We can't even take that risk. Y'all know I'm a rebel, but I don't play by my money, okay? So a lot of things that I say now about corporate America and my job, it's so funny because, I still have old coworkers and bosses that follow me on LinkedIn. And so I I broadcasted LinkedIn, and I think one week we was talking about something I knew wasn't LinkedIn appropriate, and I knew that it would, like, the story that I'm telling my coworkers and ex-bosses would know those stories, but I don't work for y'all no more, so I don't care. But if you still work there, that's not something I would necessarily do. I've also had to be careful about even case studies I've shared, because some of the case studies I've shared are from current and past clients, right? So sometimes I'll talk about things and, you know, that client will come in the comments and be like, ouch. So you just got to be careful. So you don't shit where you eat. It's the saying. So what I'm going to say is, unless you're totally free from that, I would definitely not do that. Kimberly said, okay, gotcha. Yeah, so that's for all of us. If you have a conservative industry and you're dependent upon something in that conservative industry to make your money, to be disruptive with your content could be disruptive to your money. So keep that in mind. I'm never going to tell you to do something that you can't shoulder the consequence of. So trust and believe. If I say some stuff, I have decided to shoulder that consequence. What you got, Dr. LaFera?
What I have is, so I've been thinking about some ways to do it. The people like when I do green screen. Okay, so as far as TikTok, they like the green screen. They like it on Instagram too. When I take like a trending topic or something.
Yeah.
But like when I do say, when I do the other stuff, I'm thinking I should probably have like a weekly episode where I was thinking me and my daughter could like be making like stuff for the skin, like, you know, and talking about like how, you know, stuff doesn't have to be complicated. Like do like a weekly series or something on that, or like create some other type of something that's not going to take me a long time. Because when I work, I look jacked up. I don't want to get on camera like that. But like, it's like coming up with ways to do the content other than like carousels and stuff like that on Instagram. So I'm gonna look at the people you said. I've been looking slowly at them. I started looking at Patricia last night, but like, what are your thoughts about, you know, some of the stuff that you've seen work for like people who do what I do, that aren't trying to go all into like, this is the medical reason for this and this and this. Like I've never tried to do that because that's not what I want to do.
Gotcha. So this is why I'm giving y'all blueprints to pull in, right? Because I don't necessarily want you to just look at people in your industry and what they're doing, because you're going to look just like them, right? So pull from other industries what they're doing, but do it for your industry and your brand, right? So I'm going to say that's what this whole week was about. Whose blueprint from somebody else's industry are you going to pull into your brand for your influence? So I'm going to say, go back through the blog post again and kind of like come up with the ones that you're going to use mostly, but you can use all of them, right? So I think another thing that you're saying, Dr. LaFera, is what is the cadence of switching up how I use these different blueprints? Is that the real question?
Yeah, that is the real question. Yeah.
Yeah. So because I love things like themes and series and stuff like that, because it does help me to create content easily. Think about what I've done with this content. I have created a blog, and from that blog created a series that lasts all week. So I can very easily create one blog and pull a series in for that. And that's my week's content, right? So creating themes and series, yes, my answer to that is please do. It helps me all the time. So what you could very well do is look at some of these blueprints and decide, okay, what's going to be the one that I pull in that's going to be every Monday? What's going to be the one that I pull in that'll be every Tuesday, every Wednesday, every Thursday, and maybe on Friday I'll leave the rest of them to switch it up every Friday or switch it up every other Friday. So that's the way you can kind of apply it to come up with it. Now, I'll tell you, I'm in the process of taking a YouTube course from D Green, D-E-E, Green with an E at the end, okay? And one of the things that he talks about is having different types of content, right? He talks about having search content, which is content that you're heavy on keywords and stuff like that, so that you come up in searches with SEO. He talks about having creative content that's about just something interesting. Okay, something that could be from the headline, something that could be from a celebrity case study, that type of thing, or even something interesting about mindset, something like that. Okay, then he talks about reach videos or reach content. And what he's talking about is where you take popular things that are popular right now, no matter who it's popular from, and create your version of it. Don't exactly copy them, but create your version of it, like remix it. So that could be a reach video. So an example of that would be what is trending on TikTok and create your version of it. Okay. And that is time sensitive, because what is popular right now, you have to do it right now. Right. Then he talks about create trust content. Okay. Trust content. And basically what he says is this is where you're letting them do the like, know, and trust. So you're telling them about you, right? You're telling them what you're doing, how you're doing it, a day in the life, travel, family. And what this is it's basically giving people that are already in your tribe a deeper dive on you. So it may not be a video that's for new people, but new people, when they binge you, will start to appreciate it, right? And then he talks about client result type content. And that is interesting case studies specifically, right? That is your client wins. That's even your wins, right? And breaking down somebody else's results. So you can use somebody else's result that you can help get clients for and tell them how you think they got it. Okay, so those were the different types of content. And then he kind of gives you a cadence of if you're creating 8 videos a week, then you do this many of this one and this many of that one. Right, which I didn't write down in my comments, or I would tell you exactly what he said. But so you can do that with taking all of these blueprints and decide, okay, I want to mix up the flavor of my stuff, right? So that some of it is on my expertise, some of it is like, know, and trust about me and my personality, some of it is about what I do well and improving to you with my social proof that I do it well. Does that help even more, Dr. LaFera?
That was fire.
Cool beans. Y'all thank Dr. LaFera. See, this is why y'all's questions are important, because I know a lot of stuff, but I don't know to tell you what it is if you don't ask questions.
I just took a half a page of notes just based on what you said.
Yeah, yeah. And this is why, even though you're an expert, it's important to always be learning, right? I'm always learning. Y'all, I learn something new every week. So I'm able to bring in new stuff to y'all and color it in a way that for my people who are looking to make their first 6 figures with a brand, I am able to pull in new information I have pulled in and give it to you in a way that achieves what I need to achieve for the niche that I'm serving. So always be learning, always be learning. I know people say always be closing, always be learning though. Well, all right, this was a great week, another great week, man. Let me tell y'all, when I get to the end of these weeks, it really proves to me that I be walking in my purpose, because I don't be knowing when I pull this stuff up that it's going to be this good. And damn it, if it don't be good as hell. All right, so that just reiterates that I am a genius and that you guys are geniuses, and I'm not the only genius in the room. So I love it. And I want to remind you that this is why we ask questions. Right? The difference between my general content, any general content on YouTube, Google, whatever that you're looking for, the difference always for you is going to be the questions that you ask, right? You might not, you don't know what you don't know. So when you're not in a full program, you're still missing out on some stuff. You still got gaps. However, at least from your understanding of something presented, if you ask questions, you're able to then take something general and make it custom for you. Okay? Always ask questions. Anybody that don't want you to ask questions, it's probably because they're not as expert as they say they are, and they can't answer them motherfuckers. Oh, I did the MF word. They can't answer them questions, okay? So just keep that in mind. All right. All right, guys, another great week. Love y'all. Come back next week. Let's see what transformational information for your business growth that I come up with for next week, because y'all know I wait to the last minute on Sunday to really do a deep dive think and say, all right, God, help me out. Well,